In this video, we will learn how to achieve secure cloud computing using homomorphic encryption algorithm RSA. First, we will discuss the security concerns in cloud computing. What is homomorphic encryption and how it can help us for secure cloud computing? Types of homomorphic encryption, that is fully, somewhat, partially homomorphic encryption, and which one is best for cloud computing. Then we will learn the working of RSA algorithm, and lastly we will implement RSA in Python using PyCryptodome. The benefits of cloud computing are being realized by more companies and organizations every day. Cloud computing gives clients a virtual computing infrastructure on which they can store data and run applications. But cloud computing has introduced security challenges because cloud operators store and handle data outside of reach of clients' existing security measures. Most cloud computing infrastructure do not provide security against untrusted cloud operators, which poses a challenge for companies and organizations that need to store sensitive and confidential information such as medical records, financial records, or high-impact business data. One of the major security concerns in cloud computing is data breach. Data breach is an incident that has potential to disclose sensitive information to an unauthorized party. In 2012, Dropbox was victimized by a massive data breach, which resulted in a compromise of credentials of more than 68 million of its customers. Moreover, the target of data breaches include personal health information, personally identifiable information, trade secrets, and intellectual property. This requires some highest level of security in cloud computing. And the second major security concern is misconfiguration and inadequate change control. In 2017, a misconfigured AWS cloud storage bucket exposed detailed and private data of 123 million American households. The dataset belonged to Experian, a credit bureau which sold the data to an online marketing and data analytics company called Alteryx. It was Alteryx that exposed the file. Such instances in cloud computing can be disastrous. There are various approaches to secure cloud computing. Many companies choose to encrypt data prior to uploading it to the cloud. This approach is beneficial because data is encrypted before it leaves the company's environment, and data can only be decrypted by authorized parties that have access to appropriate decryption keys. In this method, a plain text or any type of data is encoded, which is commonly referred to as ciphertext. The encoded data can only be decoded by the person who has the decryption key. This method keeps the data protected. Actually, encryption ensures that only authorized parties can access information or data. Encryption by itself cannot prevent a data breach, but in the event of a breach, the hackers will get garbage, that is encrypted data. Encryption keeps your valuable information safe. The term homomorphic encryption describes a class of encryption algorithms which satisfy the homomorphic property. That is, certain operations such as addition or multiplication can be carried out on a ciphertext directly, so that upon decryption the same answer is obtained as operating on the original messages. Homomorphic encryption allows any data to remain encrypted while it is being processed and manipulated. Homomorphic encryption enables you or a third party such as cloud provider to apply functions on encrypted data without needing to reveal the values of the data. Using homomorphic encryption, you can secure the data that you store in the cloud, while also retaining the ability to calculate and search ciphered information that you later decrypt without promising the integrity of the data as a whole. It's a win-win scenario for your business as well as your customers. There are three main types of homomorphic encryption. The primary difference between them boils down to the types and frequency of mathematical operations that can be performed on their ciphertext. The three types of homomorphic encryption include PHE, SHE, and FHE. In PHE, that is partially homomorphic encryption, only one type of mathematical operation is allowed on encrypted message. That is either addition or multiplication with unlimited number of times. In SHE, somewhat homomorphic encryption, both addition and multiplication is allowed but with only a limited number of times. Fully homomorphic encryption allows a large number of different types of evaluation operation on the encrypted message with unlimited number of times. Fully homomorphic encryption enables the construction of program for any desirable functionality, which can be run on encrypted inputs. It can perform several operations like addition, multiplication, linear and quadratic functions. The goal behind fully homomorphic encryption is to allow anyone to use encrypted data to perform useful operations without access to encryption key. In particular, this concept has applications for improving cloud computing security. The fully homomorphic methods are not suitable because of large key size and low calculating efficiency, so not practically implementable in cloud computing. Fully homomorphic encryption algorithm cannot be used in programming because the key is too large. Partially homomorphic encryption helps sensitive data remains confidential by allowing selected mathematical functions to be performed on encrypted values. This means that one operation can be performed an unlimited number of times on the ciphertext, but it can perform only one operation at a time, like addition or multiplication. Now, let us see how PHE works. First, the owner of the sensitive data generates a key pair consisting of a public key and private key. Second, the owner or a trusted repository of the sensitive data uses this public key to encrypt the data, mapping it to a new domain. Third, an untrusted computer takes the encrypted data, which it cannot decrypt because it does not get the private key, and computes the intended program on it. Fourth, the encrypted result of that computation is decrypted by whoever holds the private key. So, some of the famous PHE algorithms include Hill algorithm, RSA algorithm, and Elgamal algorithm. In the next section, we will see how to implement RSA algorithm in Python using PyCryptodome.
RSA algorithm. It is asymmetric cryptography algorithm. Asymmetric actually means that it works from two different keys, like public key and private key. As the name describes that the public key is given to everyone and the private key is kept private. Let's demonstrate an example to understand the term asymmetric cryptography. First of all, a client, for example a browser, sends its public key to the server and requests for some data. Then the server encrypts the data using the client's public key and sends the encrypted data. After this, the client receives this data and decrypts it. Since this is asymmetric, nobody else except browser can decrypt the data, even third party has public key of browser. As RSA algorithm which stores the attacks for more than 30 years, it is used for the confidentiality and the authentication of the data. It includes the following steps: generating the public key, generating the private key, then it performs the encryption of the data, and after this we can decrypt the data. The idea of RSA is based on the fact that it is difficult to factorize a large integer. The public key consists of two numbers called n and e. N is formed by the multiplication of two prime numbers, let's say p and q. P and q are just random prime numbers. E should be co-prime. Co-prime means that it should not be a factor of n and it should be an integer. Then the public key is formed, which consists of n and e. Here is the calculation to generate the private key. You can see that the private key consists of three variables k, phi and e. K is some integer, we take it as 2. Phi n is calculated by the formula p minus 1 into q minus 1. The p and q are the prime numbers and e is the co-prime number that we used previously. It is the encryption of the message m into the ciphertext by this formula. You can see that it is completely depending on the public key components e and n. After this we can decrypt the ciphertext into the message, and the decryption formula is depending on the private key component d and the number n. Therefore, you can see that encryption strength totally lies on the key size. If we double or triple the key size, the strength of encryption increases exponentially. It is simple RSA implementation in Python. First of all, we are importing a library decimal. It is used for the rounding of numbers. Then we are defining a function GCD. GCD of two numbers is used to find the greatest common divisor. For example, the GCD of 15 and 20 is 5. Then we are taking the input of P and Q prime numbers. Also, we take the input of the message value. Then we calculate the public key component n, which is the multiplication of the p and q. Then we calculate the phi, which is the private key component. It is represented here as t. Then we find the e. E is that co-prime number. GCD of two numbers is equal to 1, meaning that it is a prime number and has no any factor with the other numbers. I is a random integer. Here we calculate the private key d. Then in the line 24 and 25 we perform the encryption of the message, and in the line 26 and 28 we perform the decryption of the message. Then we print the ciphertext, decrypted message and the encrypted message. The output of the above code, in which the user entered the value of prime numbers p, q, the message that has to be encrypted. It returns the public key components, private key components, the ciphertext and the decrypted text. It is the RSA implementation in the Python library PyCryptodump. It is self-contained package of low-level cryptographic primitives. It supports the Python versions of 2.6, 2.7 and 3.4. You can install it by pip install pycryptodump. In the first line, we are importing the module crypto.public key. It provides the facility for generating new RSA keys, reconstructing them, exporting them and importing them. In the second line, we are importing the module crypto.cipher. It is asymmetric cipher based on RSA and optimal asymmetric encryption padding. It is standard padding for the RSA. In the next line, we are importing the bin ASCII. It has number of methods to convert between binary and various ASCII encoded binary representations. In the next line, we are generating the key components N, D and E, which are 3072 bits long. Then we are taking the public key components from the key pair and encoded them in hexadecimal form. Hexadecimal is a base 16 number. It is easier to represent in hexadecimal format than other formats. We are exporting these numbers by using the .export key in another file and decoded them in ASCII. ASCII is the standard American code for information exchange. It is used to translate the PC to human text. Then we are taking the key components of private key N and D from the key pair and converting them into hexadecimal form. We are also exporting them by using a .export key and decode them in ASCII format. Then we are taking a message to be encrypted. The prefix B before the message produce an instance of byte type instead of the string type. Then we are producing an encryptor using the second module crypto.cipher, which is RSA based encryptor, and we are encrypting our message using this encryptor and printing our message in bin ASCII.hexlify format. It returns the hexadecimal representation of binary data. Every byte of the data is connected into corresponding 2-digit hex representation. Resulting string is twice as long as length of the data. Then we are using a decryptor to decrypt our encrypted message and print the decrypted text. The part of the output of above code. It consists of the public key components N and E, which are generated by the crypto.public key module. It is the ASCII format of the public key generated by the above code. These are the private key components N and D generated from the above code. It is the ASCII format of the private key. It is used for the decryption of the data. Here it is the complete output, the encrypted form of the message and then the decrypted form of the message.